I want you to stop before you open your booking app. Check your Instagram analytics or price your next filler service. I need to ask you something that nobody in this space is asking you. What is your credit score? You can see by the title, we're talking numbers tonight. Not your follower count, not your monthly revenue, not your Botox units. I want to know, have you thought about or looked at your credit score lately? Because here's what I've learned and what the data confirms. If you have a 700 credit score, it's not just a number. It is quiet confidence, and it opens doors that your personality cannot. And if you're building a cosmetic or dermatology practice without one, you might be building on sand. Welcome. If you're new here, I'm Dr. Kimberly Madison, a doctorally prepared nurse practitioner and the founder of the Alliance of Cosmetic Nurse Practitioners, where I coach cosmetic nurse practitioners who want to master sales and financial literacy so that they can build businesses that run for them and not because of them. I come on here live all the time so I can answer your questions directly. You can find me on all the social media platforms. And one of the biggest things that got me into this space was seeing how many of our peers were going bankrupt, burning out, or just losing the passion after they've invested so much. And one of the biggest contributors to not succeeding in that business is understanding the art of sales and the importance of financial literacy. So since December, we've been having these conversations on financial literacy for Cosmetic NPs. We started the money playlist. That's where you're going to find this video and all our other conversations under the live tab because I always go live. So tonight we're going to cover 5 things, and I want you to stay for the whole thing because they're going to build on one another. Number 1, why performing success is the number 1 business killer for NP founders, and how to spot yourself. The difference between looking successful and being successful in this industry, what real financial confidence actually looks like, and the specific number that matters. Why I just joined EYL University and what that means for you, and how I teach members inside the Alliance of Cosmetic Nurse Practitioners, and how you can continue this conversation with me in person in Tampa at Nurses Making Business Moves on March 6th and the 7th. Now, I want you to start with something that might sting a little bit. And I say this with absolute love because I would rather you respect me and learn something than like me and stay stuck. There is an epidemic of performance and over foundation in our profession right now. And I don't mean confidence. I mean the performance of confidence without the foundation underneath it. We have NPs leasing medical suites that they can't afford, buying injectable devices on credit cards, posting luxury aesthetic content while their savings account is sitting at 0, and calling themselves entrepreneurs. And I get it. I know why the path to entrepreneurship is just like our customer journey. It's quite predictable because the aesthetic space is glamorous and it looks good on the grid. But the truth is, performing success means buying liabilities to look the part, and real confidence is building assets to sustain you. One of my mentors in business said that 76% of all luxury goods are bought by poor and struggling people, not by the wealthy. The wealthy person is the one who you cannot identify on Instagram because they're too busy building to perform building. And I want you to think about your practice right now. What are you doing for the camera, and what are you doing for your balance sheet? Now, before we get too far, we always have a devotional or a prayer at the beginning of this. And so that's what we're going to do right now. And then we'll get into our next point. If you join me, let me know in the comments what city you're coming from. So this is coming from Hebrews chapter 4, verse 16. So let us come boldly to the throne of a gracious God. There we will receive his mercy, and we will find grace to help us when we need it most. Imagine God is standing in front of you with his arms wide open. What do you do? What does God do for you? Think about that for a few moments. And when you're ready, bring your request to God. Amen. May the Lord add a blessing to the hearers, doers of his word. Okay, so that's what I believe. You don't have to believe what I believe, but that's what I believe. So that's what I share. But I do encourage you to believe in something bigger than yourself. Just like I encourage you to build a business that's beyond what you can do by yourself and that outlast your legacy. That's why we're spending so much time at the Alliance right now talking about business continuity. That's building a business that can run without you, not because of you. Meaning that anytime there's a problem, anything that needs to go on, whether it's sales, troubleshooting, customer complaints, it's not relying on you. so that you can not only step away, but what if you have a personal emergency, life emergency? What if you just want to take a sabbatical? Your business should still be able to run with you. Another one of my virtual mentors, John Hope Bryant, he says, you make money in the day, but you build wealth in your sleep. You can't build wealth in your sleep if you're central to that. Okay. That's why we're having these conversations. They're so important, because I know you guys work too hard to be going bankrupt in just a matter of a couple years, or burning out your account without having the proper structure in place and understanding what the return on that investment is going to be. So let's take a look at Maya and Aaliyah. Now, Maya, she's an NP who's about 6 months into her side practice. She makes a nice little $2,800 a month, working weekends and evenings, still not sure if it's going to work. Now, Aaliyah, she's the NP, is making 6 figures, but feels invisible in the market. She can't access business credit and is stuck at revenue ceiling that she can't figure out how to break through. Now, both of them are doing the same thing. They're confusing the appearance of success with the infrastructure of success. Appearance of success, that's the new equipment, the beautiful photos, a full booking calendar, and a course, right? Botox and filler. Now, the infrastructure of success is a credit score above 700, a savings cushion, a monthly investment, even $200 a month, a business that runs when you're not in it, and assets in your name, assets and liabilities. Now, the average sustainable first-time millionaire is 57 years old. Most overnight success takes about 10 to 15 years of consistent, unglamorous work to build. That's what the data shows, because it means you have time. But not if you're spending that time performing instead of building. That's that saying, spending more time working in the business than on the business. And that's that journey going from employee to self-employed to business owner and investor. Not most of us don't start, bam, right there is the business owner. We're making a journey. You're leaving where you were with your full-time life, your full-time job, and you're building this business on the side. It's a lot of work. And then a lot of times this was a solution to your burnout, a place that was a lot of work. So that transition, it's a little rough, and that's why you need community. So if you're watching this on YouTube or LinkedIn and you haven't subscribed yet, do that right now. Hit the bell notification, whatever it's asking you, so that you don't miss another live video. I do this every time, drop new videos every Tuesday for you, so I can answer your questions and give you that roadmap that you just can't Google, unless you Googled this video. Okay, so let's talk about some specific metrics of real financial confidence, because this is what the data shows, and this is your checklist. We love a good checklist, right? Okay, so a 700 or more credit score. This is not a magic number. So when it comes to 700, the computer says yes at midnight to whatever reasonable thing you're asking for. Prime credit access to power. That's it. A savings cushion. Now, you're going to hear a lot of people say 3 to 6 months, but I'm going to recommend 6 to 12. And the people who are really savvy when it comes to their finances, they have 18 months of savings. And think about what kind of leverage that gives you. You don't have to make desperate decisions, except pay below the market value. It allows you breathing room. And maybe for some of you, the first time, if you do have to step away from work, you can still know that everything's being managed. So your savings cushion, that's that. I'm going to say 12 months, 12 months of cushion, both for the business and your personal expenses. This gives you that peace of mind. You cannot make good clinical or business decisions from a place of financial panic. That fear and anxiety puts us in a position of leaving money on the table. And rule number 1, don't waste money. And rule number 2, don't forget rule number 1. Now, your monthly investing. This is non-negotiable. Every day you're making decisions for your life in the future. Even if it's as little, if you're a student watching this, I know finances are tight. Right now that I'm recording this, we're having this huge conversation about access to loans. That's a real thing. And they capped our ability to get loans at $100,000 because the data shows that based on what the industry compensates us, that we're defaulting on those loans. So that's why this conversation is so important, so that you have other ways to generate revenue and income, so that if you decide you want to go back to school, you can do that. You don't have to rely completely on the government and then come out being in debt where you don't even get to see any of the money that you're making that you work so hard for. Now, if you're a student and all you have is $25, just start with $25. But if you have even just $250, $200, whatever it is, something you're comfortable not having, think about that. We want to do that every month. We talked about that in December when we start talking about, oh man, what's it called? When you make a deposit every month. I can see it right now. Name of investment, dollar cost averaging. That's what it is. Remember, you just pick a number that you're comfortable with, and you just automate it, so you never even have to see it. If it says it's $200 in a fractional investment account, that means you can buy fractional shares. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you go back to the money playlist because we broke this down for you. Compounded, say over 35 to 40 years, that makes you a millionaire. I'm not selling you anything. That's math. Now, good debt tied to appreciating assets. This means something that grows over time. So you have good debt is connected to something that rises in value: real estate, business infrastructure, intellectual property. Nurse practitioners, you have intellectual property. You paid for it and you've acquired even more just by showing up for work every day. Bad debt finances, things that depreciate. Leased equipment you don't buy, luxury purchases on credit. And then you want something in your name: a stock, a property, a business with a brand, intellectual property, something real, foundational, something that exists beyond your next appointment, right? We want you to be able to make more money without seeing more patients. And again, you make money in the day, you build wealth in your sleep. Shout out to John Hope Bryant and his friend who he credits for that. Yeah. I want a 700 credit score to feel like it's a flex, because it is. It is a quiet flex that opens doors the loud ones cannot. Okay. Now, drop something in the comments for me right now. Tell me, what is one financial metric you're actively working on to improve your practice this year, or maybe your personal finances, credit score, savings, investing, paying down your debt? What is it? I read every single comment. I want to know where you are so you can help shape this conversation where we're going. Now, I want to share something that I haven't announced yet publicly. Well, actually, if you've been on the blog this week, then it's over there. But I'm sharing this here first because you're my community and you deserve to know where I'm putting my own energy and my own investment. I am one of the newest members of EYL University. If you don't know, Earn Your Leisure, or EYL, is one of the most powerful investment-focused business education communities in the country with global reach. They're building communities in Ghana right now. Founded by Rashad Bilal and Troy Millings, EYL has built a platform around making financial literacy and investment strategy accessible to Black entrepreneurs and professionals who are never invited into those conversations. I joined because my thesis has always been that nurses are both investors and one of the most under-recognized investable forces in healthcare. Instead of begging for capital, it's time we just invest in one another. You see me doing that all over the place. Now, and if I'm going to teach the Alliance how to think like investors, how to see their practice as an asset, how to access capital, how to build wealth beyond the treatment room, then I need to be inside rooms where that knowledge lives. I'm a lifelong student. I need to continue my own education publicly, in community, and with rigor. People who are doing it, people who are in the field right now. EYL University is that room for me, and I'm bringing everything I learned back to you and to my family. I just strongly, for years, I've thought, man, what if I just dedicated 1 year of my life to this? How could it change my life and the trajectory of my family? And I decided to start that experiment, and I'm bringing you along with me. Now, this is what we mean by founders and not followers. A founder does not stop learning when we reach a certain level. A founder invests in our own intellectual capital the same way we invest in our business capital. Actually, when I think about it, I have a pattern. The last few years, every part of the beginning of the year, I make my biggest investment for the year in the business. So this part of the year is like a really good time for me, apparently. And so I'm excited to see where this takes us. Now, I want to be honest with you, and I'm not just building a membership. I'm building a movement, and that movement requires me to keep growing, not just teaching what I already know, but learning what I do not know yet and modeling that process for you. Which brings me to my second announcement, which I think you all should know, is that I want to continue this conversation with you. And if you want to sit in a room with NP founders who are doing the real work and building real infrastructure, talking real numbers, then I need you to come in down to Tampa, Florida, where I'll be one of the panelists at the Nurses Making Business Moves conference, founded by the Dr. Farah Laurent, another doctorally prepared nurse. And so we're going to dive so much deeper on everything we talked about today: mindset, financial confidence, and building your infrastructure, what it actually means to be an investor as a nurse or a nurse practitioner. This is going to be actually me and Farah already started this conversation. I was on her podcast last week or 2 weeks ago, and we had the money talk for nurses. So if you haven't, please go over to her channel and check that out. I'll put the link below. These are the rooms that change trajectory, not because of one conversation, but because of who you are in these rooms, who are you in the rooms with. Remember, your net worth is equal to your net work. This is for you parents, because none of you ever talk to your kids about networking, how to communicate, how to build these relationships, how to identify mutual interests. Some of you are still talking for your children who are 16 and 17 and on their way out the door. It's not just the degree, it's not just the work experience, it's not just the sports that they're going to need to be successful, especially if you're sending them to nursing school. You can't depend on that one school they'll get a job. Yes, they'll get a paycheck, but at what cost? Okay? They're not going to get very far without a network. Now, EYL University, like the other rooms that I've invested in, these are the kind of rooms that change trajectory, not because of one conversation, but because of who you're in the room with, the connections that you make, and the standard of thinking that you get exposed to. I told you, when I realized, if I had the people around me who could help me get where I wanted to be, I'd already be there. That's when I had to change my perspective, how I spend my time, and how I spend my money. And I want you to do the same thing. Now, I'll drop a link in the description box and in the comments so that you can check out that video. You can join the waitlist at the Alliance. We're taking all of this and we've created some resources for you in the Mahogany Dermatology blog. In the Mahogany Dermatology Nursing Bookstore. Now, before we get to that, some key takeaways from our conversation with you that I want you to share with someone who's thinking about going to nursing school, NP school, someone who's looking at graduation in May, someone who's looking for a preceptor, someone who just took their first Botox course and they're looking to get hired. I want you to share this video with them. I want you to share it with parents, counselors, mentors, youth ministers, because they're the ones that's providing that guidance. They're the reason people are going to those schools, why they're spending money on those certification courses. It's you guys. You guys have to be the ones that are ahead, because you're guiding the future. They're relying on you. So I want to thank you for watching. If you made it this far, thank you for sharing this content. Remember, real success whispers. Performing success is loud and it's broke, and you cannot out-earn a broken financial foundation, no matter how full your booking calendar is. So many times, I do a lot of these consultations and people have 10, 20,000 followers, but they're still thinking about filing bankruptcy. Their credit card is maxed. Their relationship is stressed. So you can't look at that. You can't look at those numbers, okay? Don't build your dream based on an assumption, because people only show you what we want you to see, okay? Your credit score is something you can see right now. As soon as this is over, you get access to that every single week, for free. Okay, your credit score is a trust score. Your savings account is your freedom, and your investments are your legacy. Yes, even if you're 20, 30, 40, single, divorced, broke, alone, you have a legacy. Nobody's here for nothing. Okay, stop chasing the appearance of success. Start building the infrastructure of it. And it starts with that health literacy, right? Because you can have all the money in the world, you can have the best portfolio, but if you don't have your health, it won't mean anything. And then your financial literacy, okay? This landed for you. If you feel clear about what financial confidence actually looks like for an NP founder, then I want you to go read the article on the Mahogany Dermatology blog, Follow the Money, what nurse practitioners need to know about building financial infrastructure. The link is in the bio. And it goes deeper into everything that we covered today. If you want to go even deeper and start taking action, then every quarter this every quarter this year, we're releasing our quarterly ebooks on financial literacy for cosmetic NPs. The one that we released in January is available in the Mahogany Dermatology bookstore right now for $17. You get it download immediately, you get your copy, you can start working right now. It's pouring all these thousands of dollars of investment into a guide to help you get started. Now, if you're on an email list, then every new quarter, when we drop a new book, the email list gets it for free for the first 3 days that it's open. So we're giving it away, right? We're trying to help you live the life you work so hard for. If you haven't already, this is your reminder to subscribe. I thank you for being here so much, and I'll see you next week. Oh, actually, I don't want to see you next week. I want you to check out this video, because if you enjoyed this one, then you're really going to love this next one right here in the money playlist.